What is up, everybody? Okay, so I have been trying to build out a good foundation of tackle tips that I can give over to you guys to kind of help you out on your fishing journey. So in this video, I want to talk about my two favorite braided fishing line sizes that I pretty much use across the board for about anything, and my reasons behind it. So here we go. Alright guys, so I have thought long and hard on this idea and on this theory of fishing line and how like the internet loses its mind over it. So I've tried to really simplify it. I've tried to simplify all my reels kind of to where it's the same line across the board. It's the same bigger line across the board. That way I can interchange out my fishing line. I know what's spooled on there and I can tie a little of this on, tie a little on that. There's a method to the madness. So what I want to do right now is I want to break it down, and I want to kind of just download my mind here on this channel, here on this video, to kind of help you guys out, and so y'all can communicate and maybe come up with your own theories. So my very first favorite braided fishing line size is 30-pound Power Pro. Right? It's 30-pound braid. I use 30-pound on just about all my 3000 series reel. I use 30-pound braid on my Revo SX bait casters that you might have seen me throw it for redfish under the bridge. My theory on that is that 30-pound braid is kind of like that braid size that when you're in a kayak you can really horse on and you won't break it because the kayak gets a lot of glide, but at the same time you can put the thunder in a fish and really let him pull the kayak around. And if you're in a boat and you really lift up, you get a lot more oomph out of it. But if you want to let the drag go, you can let the drag go. Most reels, like the 3000 series reels and the bait casters, are kind of, I guess, well, like the Revos are kind of geared up for like 12-pound mono, and 30-pound Power Pro kind of seems to be about the same like size. I mean, I'm not being specifically with this here, but what I'm saying is it doesn't dig into the spool or into the reel itself. So like if you've got a lot of loose braid on that reel, you know, from casting a lot in the wind, and you get a real zinger or a bull red that decides to dive, that line can dig down into the rest of your line and almost like knot up, kind of like a backlash but in reverse, you know. So it tends to stay on the spool well, it tends to work well, and I can always just say 30-pound Power Pro or 30-pound braided, and I'm in there. I'm in that zone, okay? Now my second favorite fishing line size is 50-pound braid that goes on my offshore reels, like my Jigmaster 500, like my Spinfisher 850, my Penn 8000s, and I think I even have it on my my 4/0 Senator. It's top shotted with it. Now 50 pounds, that's kind of like, y'all are probably gonna say, why not 65 pounds? Well, 50 pounds is pretty much enough to where when you really lift in a kayak, you ain't breaking it. But it's also like not tow ropes. So if you had to break it, you could, because you really got to think, if you get caught up in this stuff, your kayak if your kayak flips or you go overboard in your boat and you get tangled up and you're by yourself, could you break that line and get yourself free? Bet you didn't think about that one, did you? Because if you can't break that stuff, you're gonna wear it. You tied up. You all tied up. And also, if you're on the bottom, you can't break yourself off. You got to cut the line, and then you just lost 100 feet of braided expensive fishing line.
Oh, Jack's big one. Jack's got him. Jack's got him. I got him. Jack's got him. Oh, Jack's got one on the tree trunk. Holy cow, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
That was 50-pound braid on a cane pole attached to a giant snapper. Still didn't break. I think it's strong enough. Also, the 50-pound braid fits on the reel like my Jigmaster 500 really well. I can put like 350 yards on my reel, no problem. and I can top shot it with the 50-pound braid. I can put like 200 yards of mono or whatever yards of mono, still put a lot of braid on there. So I'm not gonna get spooled on those big fish, those big tarpon running or those big sharks or whatever. Just food for thought. Those are my theories. I love 30, I love 50, and I try to put it on every one of my reels that way. I am across the board the same. Now you might be saying, braid's expensive, guys. Braid, that's so expensive. That's so expensive. Well, you don't have to put the whole reel slap full of braid. You can go like 60% mono and just throw 100 yards of braid on there, 150 yards. Heck, you could probably just throw 75 yards on there because that's doing all the playing anyways. All the casting and hooking and casting and hooking. And if he's running you down to the mono, then you just got to get on your horse and chase him. Just saying. So all right, guys, that's my theory on the 2 fishing lines I like to use the best. I want you to comment below on brand and fishing line sizes and what you fish for in the comment section below so everybody else can learn and we can all have a discussion, because it's important for us fishermen to share with each other, because I know there's a guy out there right now just typing away like, what kind of line do I got to put on my new fishing reel? It's spring, the king mackerel coming, what do I need to use? So in closing, I wanted to add that, could you use smaller line than 50-pound Power Pro? Yes, you could. You don't have to have 50. You could do it with 20. Or you could do it 30. But here's the problem, is that you might not hook up with a king mackerel. You might hook up with a shark. And by using 50-pound, you got enough horsepower to get a tuna, to a shark, to a king mackerel. Whatever you hook into that day, you got enough horsepower to get him in. And that's kind of why I settled on 50. Got more running room at 50, because you can put more on it. And you got just enough strength to get him in. And plus your drag washers aren't going to be able to handle much more than that anyways. You're not going to have that much hold in the reel. It's going to let the line out anyways. You're going to have to cut the spool. Long story. It's enough. It's just my theory. Unless you're deep dropping wrecks and you got to pull a humongous grouper off the bottom, totally different story. 30-pound and 50 across the board, you can catch just about anything. Simple. Just fixed it all for you. Made it simple. I'll see you guys later. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow me on Yak Motley on Facebook and Instagram. I hope you guys have a great day. See you later.
If you want to, I'll get you flowers waiting around the bend. Baby, let's just pretend. I wanna stay like this forever. I wanna stay right here with you. I wanna stay right here with you. As the rest we fall until it all breaks down. But I need it so I will stay around. When you're all messed up, it's a great relief to be understood. It's a shame still waters run deep. So let us walk right into the forest, to the trees and the rising sun. It is something we can't outrun. I do whatever it takes to hold you, whatever it takes to you. Wanna be in this game for two. When it all comes down, do you feel alive? Are you feeling lost? You were made to fly, but you're so much more than a memory. It is not easy. It's a shame still waters run deep. As the rest we fall till it all breaks down. But I need it so I will stay around. And when you're all messed up, it's a great relief